Hello, everybody, to my parents today. I'd like to say hello to my audience today, parents that might be here or that might come later to listen to what I have to say concerning our young people today in this earth. And I would like to say hi to all the children in the world that's been abused, that's been neglected and abandoned, and even by their parents. I would like to say hi to you, and I just really want to say I'm sorry, so sorry that you are going through all the things that you are going through today. And I know how you feel. I know how you feel because I have been there myself personally. My name is Elisha Ba, and I am a YCCA. I'm a youth care community advocate for young people. I'm here today because I would like to discuss something that I feel that need to be discussed. I mean, it really do need some attention. It really do need to be addressed today. Okay, and I'm just going to give you the title of this broadcast that we will be talking about today. Okay, concerning our young people all over the earth, from babies, newborns, all the way up to 17, 18, 20, 24, 25 years old. Why you want to hurt me, mommy and daddy? Don't kill me. What did I do? Please. Why do you, or why would any parent want to hurt their children? Why? What is the reason that a parent, a mom, or a dad would want to hurt little Billy and little Sue and little Joe and little May May and Connie and Bob and Billy? What is the reason why a parent want to hurt their children? It is a reason why, and it's a serious reason why they want to hurt their children. It's a serious reason why. Okay, and it's no game, it's no joke. I mean, you have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of children being murdered and slaughtered by their own mother and their own fathers. Slaughtered to death, chopped up, put in the freezer, put them in a pot and boil them and eat them. I mean, it goes on and on, all the horror stories that children that's still alive, that made it through that abuse, that made it through that trauma, that made it through that pain, that made it through that, they have stories to tell about what happened to them in the care of their parents. And some of the children did not make it through that. They end up losing their life by the hands of their parents. They wicked and evil parents. It's not only that they are wicked and evil, it's other things that's going on with them also that triggers them. See, it's all about triggers. Triggers. When you have been abused, when you have been neglected, when you have been looked over and rejected and abandoned as a child growing up in your household, you're going to grow up. You're going to grow up with that trauma. You're going to grow up with that trauma. You're going to go with all the pain and all the wounds and all the bruises and all the everything that you received as a child under the care of your parents. Okay, your parent was abusive. Okay, just let me go into some deep details. I have some articles that I'm gonna read. Let me just go into some deep details. Again, my name is Elisha Ba, and I am a YCCA, okay, a care community advocate. That's what I am. That's my passion. That's my desire. I must try to help these situations or these situations that our young people are in. I must try to do something to make a difference in the lives of young people. I mean, it's not that many people in the world that actually really do care about children and young men and women. It's not that many. And it's a shame that is that way, but unfortunately, it is that way. So I'm going to do all that I can as a person, as a human being, they call, that I can do to address and try to make a difference in the life. But if I could just make a difference in the life of one child, two children, five, just something that I need to do to help. So, what I am saying to you, parent, you might hear this audio or this broadcast, and you are in the middle of abusing your child or mistreating your child or mistreating your children or you might be in the midst of mentally and physically abusing your children. And if you are in the middle of abusing your children, and I know a lot of that go on. I mean, these people look like they have their life all together. You know, they driving brand new cars, they got money in the bank, you know, they have some, not all, some. You know, they look like everyday people that they have their life together, that they got it all together, their household is good, their children is good, nothing is wrong in their household, and you will be amazed you would be amazed to all the horror stories that the children that have made it out of those abusive situations have to tell you. So don't look at a person how they, keeping their children clean or, keeping them dressed. Some of the people that like to abuse their children, they like to put on a facade that they are good parents, and they really are horrible parents. Okay? So let's go back to why all of this death, all of this death, I mean, child after child after child after child. I keep hearing it on the news every day how the dad gonna kill his child or beat his child to death, or the mom don't let the man beat the child and rape the child. I mean, it just go on and on every day. And what can we do to help these little children that are so afraid? When you are in the midst of abuse, you are so afraid. So let's take it all the way back to your childhood. Let's take it back to your childhood, mama. Let's take it back to your childhood, Daddy. Let's take it all the way back to when you was 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. Let's take it back. Let's take it back. What happened to you at that age? What did your mom do to you? What did your dad do to you? What happened that you got to heal your own child today? And you survived the child abuse and the child neglect. You survived it. So why is it that you don't want your children to survive? Instead of you beating them and, doing some form of abuse to them, you just taking a gun or a knife or a hatchet or a chainsaw or whatever means you can get your hands on and kill them. Now, what would trigger a parent? Because that's what it is. It's triggers. It is triggers. It's the abuse. It's the pain and it's the wounds that they have carried all of their lives. They chose not to talk about it. They chose not to tell no one about it. They chose to keep everything quiet and a secret about what they went through when they was raped by their mom, or they was raped by their dad, or they was raped by their grandma, their granddad, or they was beat by their mom, or they was beat by their dad, or they was tortured by their mom or dad, or abandoned, or whatever form of abuse. They chose to keep it quiet. They chose to keep it a secret. They chose to try to hold all of that inside of them. And there is no way that you can hold all of that childhood trauma when it's that tremendous, when it's that extreme like it is, like you went through the extreme parent, you cannot hold that in. You're just gonna be triggered and you're gonna react. You're gonna react, and that's what you're doing. You're reacting on your children. Because you remember when your mom beat you down, and your dad beat you, and your mom raped you, and your dad raped you. You remember all of that. How they put you in a closet for 2 months, and they didn't give you no food. Now you want to treat your children the same exact way that you was treated. The same exact way. I saw a YouTube video the other day where this little boy, he managed to get the cell phone of his dad, right? And he called 911, and he said, little boy, like 5, 6, 7 years old, he said, could you bring me a Happy Meal? I am so very hungry. And the officers begin to say, why is a child calling us, asking us to bring them a Happy Meal and some food? Something is going on in this house. We need to go over there and check this house out where this little boy is. So they got the address and they went over there and they went into the house. Oh my God, the house was so very nasty. The house was so very filthy. The house was so very horrible. I mean, it looked like that house haven't been cleaned in 5, 10 years. That's how bad it looked like. But as they began to go upstairs and look around the house, because they was looking for the little boy. They was looking for the little boy that called for the Happy Meal. And they just kept looking for him. And they got upstairs to a room. And in this nasty, filthy house, upstairs in a room, is a beautiful bed where it's clean look like somebody lived there and it's clean and all kind of things. That's where the daddy was living that was abusing the child. He was living in a clean and nice room. But when they found the little boy, he had black eyes and all kind of things. He had been beat, beat. He was just laying in feces. He was laying in all kind of stuff. He hadn't ate probably in 6 months. See, that man that did that to his little son, he was abused by his father. Yes, he was abused by his father. Okay? It is so many stories like that. You got another story what I read on YouTube where a couple, this was a black couple. That was a white man that a white gentleman that I just told. This is a black. It doesn't matter if it's you black or white or Chinese or whatever you is. Childhood abuse and neglect is among all races of children. So this black couple, young, they in their 30s or something like that, they took a gun and shot their child 4 or 5 times point blank and beat him and beat him and then they burned him up. They beat him, they shot him 4 times, and then they burned him up. The mom and the dad. This is what's going on. See, it's triggers. You don't want to talk about your childhood abuse. See, and that's the problem. You want to make all kind of YouTube videos and talk about how you're going to help this person and how you're going to change this and how you need to do this to love a man and how you need to do this to help some. But you need to help yourself first because everybody that I know in my life have been abused as little children. Everybody that I know has been abused some kind of way, some kind of form of abuse as little children. All my cousins, all my friends, everybody in my family, everybody has been abused. What person you know in this life that haven't been abused some kind of way in their life by their parents, by their mom, by their daddy, by their auntie, by their caregivers, by their grand. Yes, and they killing the children on top of that, taking their life. See, back when I was a little girl, yes, I went through abuse, a lot of different forms of abuse. Okay? But didn't nobody kill me. My mama didn't kill me. My daddy didn't kill me. My grandma didn't kill me. My aunties didn't kill me. My uncles didn't kill me. Now today, they are abusing the children, beating them down, starving them to death, all kind of things, and then they turn around and take their life. That's the new form of childhood abuse. Now the child or the children are losing their lives at the hands of these parents that have been abused, abused so very badly. I mean, you got some abuse that will blow your mind. It's some people, grown people now, they grown, that have been through abuse as children. The abuse that they went through will blow your mind if they just sit you down and talk to you and tell you what happened to them as children. It will blow your My, but most people that have went through abuse, they are ashamed to talk about it. They are ashamed to talk about it. They are ashamed to talk about it. They don't want nobody to know that they was raped by their mama or they was raped by their daddy. They don't want nobody to know that their mama starved them and didn't give them no food when they was little girls and little boys. They don't want nobody to know because when you are abused, when you are a child being abused, the abusers always talk you into keeping a secret. Shh. That's what they tell the children. Shh. It's a secret. Don't tell nobody that I raped you last night. Your little cousin been in there raping you. You 6 years old. He about 18, 12, 15. He been in there raping you. Shh. Don't tell mama. Don't tell grandma now. Don't tell auntie now that I raped you. It's a secret. We're going to keep this a secret between me and you. Don't tell nobody. Because if you tell somebody that I did you wrong and I'm raping you and I'm beating on you and I'm treating you like you are nothing but a dog, locking you in a closet, putting you in a refrigerator, won't give you no why. If you tell somebody that, I'm going to get in trouble. So don't tell nobody what is going on because I'm going to get in trouble. And you know how children are. They so innocent. They so innocent and they don't, especially when they're 6, 7, 8, 9 years old, they don't understand what's going on. All they know is that someone is, that you are hurting them, that you are, you doing things to them. That's all they know. And they don't understand why. Because that's how I was when I was a little girl. I didn't understand why they was doing what they was doing to me, why they was raping me or whatever I didn't understand why. All I know is they used to say, be quiet and don't tell nobody. It's a secret. So the children end up growing up protecting the abuser. Because I know I did it for a long time. My mom abused me and my dad. And for a very long time, I protected them. I still looked at them like they was, she's my mom and he's my dad. And, I still I began to remember things as I got older. I began to remember things that they did to me. And when they install in you to keep it a secret, that goes along with you, even in your adult life. You still want to keep it a secret, and you still don't want nobody to know that happened to you. So what happens when the mom and the dad keep it a secret and they won't tell nobody, they won't talk to nobody, and they have children? They begin to get triggered. They begin to react on the abuse that they went through when they was children. You cannot hold it in because it was so traumatic and traumatizing what you went through. I know when I reached the age of where I began to remember and I became adult, like a young teenager, maybe, yeah, young teenager, and I became a young adult, I began to remember, and it destroyed my whole entire life. So this is what's going on. I couldn't think straight. I couldn't eat straight. I was depressed. I had a lot of anxiety. I had a lot of fear. I had a lot of depression. I had a lot of misery. I was in pain, and I just didn't know. I knew that I had been abused when I was a child, but I didn't understand that the abuse that I went through had me feeling the way that I was feeling. And I didn't talk to nobody about it. I didn't tell nobody nothing till I got older. Okay, I'm talking about older, like maybe I started sharing it with my husband. I think he was the first person that I started telling him that I had been abused by my mom and my grandma now, my auntie now. I started telling him I was an adult then, in my 20s. So what I am trying to paint right now for you to understand, parents, is this. You cannot carry the pain of a abused child. You can't carry that because you're going to react and you're going to trigger. And a lot of the anxiety and the depression and and misery and that rejected feeling that you feeling, that lonely feeling, that fearful feeling, that scared feeling. Look at this little girl picture. She is so scared. All of those feelings and emotions that people are going through today, grown people, is because they have been abused as children. That's why you got anxiety and bipolar and all of that. It's because of your childhood, your past life as a child. That's what it is. I didn't know that's what it was because I was real depressed and I just didn't know why. The reason was that I had went through all that pain and torture from people in my own family. So this little girl here, I'm going to call her Becky. Little Becky right here on this picture, she is very, very afraid because somebody is about to come in the room. She probably laying in her bed sleeping. And usually the abusers, they always abuse you around the same time at night. So she just laying here in her bed sleeping, and here come her dad. Here come her dad, ready to beat her half to death for no reason. Just because he got beat by his mom or his dad half to death. Just because. Just because. He ready to come in the room and rape little Connie because he got raped probably by his mama when he was a little boy. So this is how it's playing out. So why you want to hurt me, mama? So the children are dying and the children are losing their lives at the hands of their own parents. And you want to call it evil. And I called it evil too when I first came on right now. It is evil what they are doing to their children. It's very, very evil and wicked. But what the society of this world don't want to look at and understand is that these people or these parents have been abused. by their parents and by their caregiver and by their cousins and auntie. No, this is the problem. They've been victims of abuse, victims of neglect, victims of torture, victims of pain, victims of starvation, victims. They are victims. They are victims. And guess what? Most of the victims never ever confront the abusers. Most of them. Because again, they was taught as children, shh, keep it a secret. I just recently, I would say about 2 years ago, approached my auntie for some things that she done to me as a child. I approached her. I wasn't nothing but 7 years old when she did it. Her and her husband. I approached her and I said to her, I remember now what you did to me, auntie. I remember what you did, you and your husband, to me. She thought, what you talking about, girl? What you talking about? I ain't did nothing to you. And she know that she did. I said, yeah, you did it, but you don't want to admit it. I can really press charges against you right now if I want to. Why? Because it doesn't matter how long ago it was. You did something wrong to me and you offended me. I can put you in jail right now for that. And she started, oh, yeah, she got nervous and she called my mom and all of that. And my mom went along. I'm just telling you some of my stories. I have many stories. And that's why I call this channel Mama, Tell My Story. Tell my story, Mama, or Mommy. Tell my story, Mommy. That's the name of this channel. I'm just telling you some of my story as a child. I went through hell. I went through hell, people. I'm just telling you. But I survived it. I survived it. But the children that are losing their life and the mamas and the daddies are killing them, they are not surviving it. So yeah, I confronted her. I'm telling my story today, some of it. This is all about telling your story. Called my mom. She called my mom, my auntie, telling her, oh yeah, she said I did this to her and I did that to her. And my mama know that she did it to me. My mama used to take me to her house so she can do it to me. So don't call me. My mother gonna call me and talk, yeah, your auntie said you did this, she did this. I said, yeah, don't you remember that I told you when I was a little girl what they did, what they was doing to me? Don't you remember that? So don't come with that. See, it's all a big family secret. That's what goes on in families today. It is a family secret. The auntie don't rape the child, or the auntie don't did this to the children, or this don't happen to the children, or the auntie don't did this, or the grandma did this, and the granddad did this, and the uncle did this to the children. It's a big family secret. And that's what it is. And the children never ever get it because all the grown people in the family, they was up with the abuse of the child. They was up with it. They was all in it together, thinking that this child ain't gonna never remember what I did to her. They never gonna remember what we did to them. They never gonna remember. They just 5 years old. They just 3 years old. They just two. They just seven. They not gonna remember that I raped them, that I beat on them, that I tortured them, that I did this to them, that I neglected them, that I locked them in the closet every day for 5 hours a day without food. They not gonna remember. Why? Because they too young to remember. But that's not true because your subconscious, anything that you experience and go through in life, your subconscious will record it, and you will begin to remember as you get older. You'll start having nightmares, and that's why so many people say they have what's that, PSTD. It's because they've been through childhood trauma, abuse, all forms and shapes of abuse. That's why you got PSTD and bipolar and all the rest of it. Your abuse, your abusers, they still living today, and you want to protect them. You want to protect grandma. You don't want to tell the world that grandma is evil, that grandma is wicked, that grandma raped you. You don't want to tell the world that grandma robbed you to death when you was 8 and 9 years old. You don't want to tell the world, or you don't want to tell anyone, should I say, that your daddy molested you when you was 9 years old, all the way up until you was 15 years old. You don't want to tell that. You start to remember all of that once you get like, I know I start remembering. I start remembering things. How old was I when I began to have like nightmares and like flashbacks? And I would say that I was about 15 years old. So I'm like 14, 15, 16 years. I began to remember things. That's what it was. Okay? See, it's a family secret. You don't want to tell how your mama molest you and rape you. You her son. You her only son. And she's having sex with you. All through your childhood, your mom has sex with you. And you don't want to say anything about that to anyone. You want to keep it a secret. You don't want to tell anyone. You want to hide it. You cannot hide it. Listen to me, parent. If you are abusing your child right now, mentally, physically, verbally, and spiritually, because you can also be spiritually uh, neglected also. If you are doing any of those things to your children right now, and you hear this broadcast, please pick up the phone or leave me a comment, because you don't know my phone number. Leave me a comment that you need to talk to me. It's got to stop. It's got to stop. You got to stop hurting little Billy. You got to stop hurting Kaya and Riri and Reginald and Thomas and Billy and Maria and JoJo. You got to stop hurting them before you end up taking their life, before you end up killing them. Because once you trigger and you start having flashbacks. See, I know about flashbacks. I know about the triggers. I have felt the triggers. I understand the truths. That's why something happened to me when I was 20 something years old. I had a flashback and I began to do something to someone because I was having a flashback about my childhood. What happened to me in my childhood? And the flashback that I had was concerning a woman that did something to me in my childhood. Rate me if you really want to know. I'm not ashamed to tell you what happened to me. I would tell anybody what happened to me. Okay? You have flashbacks and triggers, and then you'll end up hurting somebody. Because see, I had this trigger right in this flashback of somebody raping me. Somebody, my mama took me over their house so they could babysit me. I started having a flashback when I was like 21 years old. And it was this one particular young lady that was around me when I was having a flashback. It wasn't a child. It wasn't a child. It was a young lady. I had the flashback and I got triggered and I did things. I didn't rape her or nothing like that they did to me. But what I did was try to put fear in her. That's what I did. I was trying to put fear in her because that's what they did to me. That's how the babysitter got me to have sex with her is because she put fear in me to do it. I'm going to beat you if you don't let me do it. I'm going to whoop you if you don't let me do it. I'm not going to give you no food if you don't let me do it. The abusers, they have kind of ways to talk children into letting them abuse them. So, parent, dad, or mama, if you hear this video and you are being triggered and you are having flashbacks and you are beginning to remember what your dad and your mom and your cousin them did to your auntie them, or even a stranger, how they treated you as a child, and you need to talk to me, leave me a comment before you end up taking the life of your child or doing something to your children that you're going to regret later. Listen to me. You don't have it together. You cannot make the nightmares go away until you get healing. You got to get healing from that. You got to get healing from all the wounds. And I mean, it's a lot of wounds, and it's a lot of healing, and it's a lot of pain and sorrow that you are feeling because of your childhood. Let me help you because I am healed now. I'm already healed. I'm already healed. I have confronted my abusers. I have confronted my mom. My dad is not here no more to confront him. I'm not carrying the abuse and the pain any longer. I give it to them. Let them take responsibility for what they did to me. So leave me a comment if you need me to talk to you. If you need to tell me your story, or even if you want to come on this channel and tell your story, or tell the story of your, of your children, something that you might have been doing wrong to them as parents, and you're not doing that anymore. That will help other parents. That will help other parents to cope and to understand that they have some support here, where we all can come together as past victims. I'm a past victim because I've been healed from it. You're still a victim. You are still a victim. I'm a survivor now. I'm a survivor now. You are still a victim because you still have the nightmares, you still have the triggers, you still, you abusing your children, you verbally abusing your children, you mistreating your children, you don't care about your children, you're not taking care of your children, you beating on your children, you let your children go hungry, you let somebody else abuse your children. It could be somebody in your house, like a boyfriend or husband. You let them beat your children. So you are still a victim. Vice versa. Man, you let a woman abuse your children. Vice versa. You are still a victim. And you must be healed. I know how to heal you. I know the steps that you need to take to get your healing, to make all the pain go away and all the memory go away and all the fear go away. The nightmares and the thoughts, the overthinking that come in your mind about your childhood. The children are dying. Why do you want to hurt me, mommy and daddy? Why? What did I do to make you want to hurt me? I haven't did anything. I haven't did anything, mommy. I haven't did anything, daddy. I've been a good little girl. I've been a good daughter. I do everything you want me to do. Just don't hurt me, mommy, please. Don't hurt me, daddy. Please don't rape me no more. I can't take it. You hurting me so bad, Daddy. Please don't beat me, Daddy, with that belt. Please don't beat me with that stick no more, Daddy. Please don't put me in this cage, Daddy. Please don't put me in this room, Daddy, and lock the door and I can't come out for 4 months. Please, Daddy. Please, Mama. Don't hurt me. The children are just, don't hurt me. I read another news article, not a news article. I was listening to YouTube, and I'm not going to be too much longer. I'm going to read a couple news articles now. I was listening to YouTube, and this woman sold her 7-year-old daughter to a man for $2,000, and he ended up killing the girl. I mean, it's so many stories, story after story after story after story. And then once they kill the children, they throw them in jail. They throw them in jail. They still, they still are victims of childhood emotional, physical, spiritual abuse. Jail will not ever take the trauma away from what happened to them parents when they was little girls and little boys. You need to have something in the jail system that we can ever get a government or presidents that really care about children. Then we can get something uh, in the jail system that will help these victims of childhood abuse because they are victims, even though they are sitting in their cells right now today, men and women, by the hundreds and thousands of them, might be millions. Because child abuse, this has been going on since ancient times. It never have quit, it never have stopped. So it's been millions of children, thousands of children that have lost their life, murdered, killed. So they sitting there in jail and prison in their cell thinking about what they did. You got children in there that have killed their parents. You got children in jail right now today that have killed their parents. So it's just not the mamas and the daddies that's killing the children. You also have the children that's killing their parents also. Their cousin, their grandma, all of that. Again, the head of it all is childhood, mental, physical, verbal abuse. That's the head of it. Why would a child, why would a little boy or two brothers kill their mom? What is it that their mama did to them to make them want to kill their own mama and their own daddy? Something that mama did. Something that they didn't like about mama. Something they wanted to get out of mama. Whatever their reasons is, it all stems from the way that the parent have treated the child. Because there's no way, if you're a loving parent, that your son or your daughter going to want to take your life. There's no way. There's absolutely no way. You won't even, that won't even cross your mind. Why? Because you love your mom and you love your dad too much to do that. Same with the children. If you was a good mom where you love dad, where you love your children, it would never cross your mind to hurt them, to rape them, to kill them, or none of that. But again, you don't love your children, and the child don't love the parents. So it's vice versa right now. It's a lot of everything going on right now. What did I do, Mama? I asked my mama that today. What did I do to make you treat me the way you treated me as a child? The way you let people hurt me. You took me over people's house and they hurt me as a child. What did I do? She don't want to talk about it. She want to pretend that she haven't done anything. And that's why I don't want to talk to her right now. So she be a woman enough or a mother enough to take responsibility for what she let happen to me as a child. So again, they need to have something in the jail where these people can sit in their cells or sit in a room and they can tell their childhood trauma stories. Why did I kill my child? Why did I kill her? I killed them because I didn't love them. I killed them because I don't know how to love them. I killed them because I never felt any love from my mom or my dad. I killed them because my mom and my dad beat me. They beat me. So I want to beat my children. I want to hurt my children because I was hurt so bad. So I want to hurt them now. See, this is what they need in the rehab center, in the jails, the behavior centers, and all these kind of places, the youth homes, the foster home. They need this. So the victims of childhood trauma and abuse can heal themselves. They never told their story. Sitting up in prison for killing their child or their children, and they never told their story. They could not handle the pain of the trauma of their childhood. They got triggered so very angry. So very angry. Yes, childhood trauma carries a lot and lots and lots of anger. So much anger inside. Woo! That you can kill anybody that get in your way. I know I have felt that trigger. When I was younger, I felt like hurting people. I actually felt like hurting people. Why? Because I was hurting. Because what I had been through, they hurt me. And I wanted to blame it on somebody. I wanted to hurt somebody because I was hurting because they hurt me. And this is what's going on with the mothers and the moms and the dad. They hurting the children because they want to hurt somebody, anybody they can hurt because they're so angry. They're so frustrated. They're so miserable. I used to actually just start arguing with people. I'm telling you my story today, some of it. I got plenty. I used to just start arguing with people for no reason. For no reason. The reason is that I was hurting and I didn't know how to stop the pain. I was hurting and I did not know how to stop the pain. And that's why people commit suicide. That's why you got a lot of suicide. You got, I'm getting ready to read the article. You got parents that's killing themselves, killing their children, everybody in their house. Why? They got so much anger and pain that they never told nobody their story. They never told nobody about their abuse. Remember, the abusers told them they can never tell no one. It's a secret. So they harbor that all inside. And they feel too ashamed to tell somebody that they was raped by their daddy and they're a man. And they feel too ashamed to tell somebody that they was raped by their mama and they're a man. So they just harbor it and harbor it and harbor it and harbor and harbor and harbor and carry and carry and carry until they explode. Boom! And when they explode, they hurt and kill and destroy anything in their path. It can be their children, it can be their mama, it can be their daddy, it can be their cousin, it can be whoever. They got to hurt somebody because they have exploded where they can't take anymore. And that's why they end their life. They can't take it anymore. Yes. Telling your story, telling what happened to you, a child telling what happened to them before they even grow up will help that child to get the healing that they need in their little childhood life so they don't grow up destroyed as a adult, a grown person. They grow up destroyed. That's why the jail is so full with so many young men, young women, old men, so full, so very full. Why? Because they have never told their story. They have harbored it and harbored it and harbored it until they exploded and lost their mind and put the gun to their own head and blow their own brains out. And the brains of their children. Cut their children up with a hatchet, put them in the freezer, and freeze them in the freezer for seven. But the child's still in the freezer. Don't nobody even know the child in the freezer. Don't nobody know it. They've been killed the child 5 years ago, but he's still in the freezer. She, be careful, brother. This is what's happening today. This is the society. This is the world that we are living in. Reality. Reality. You can't hide it no more. If you keep trying to hide what you have been in life and cover it up, that's why you can't have no productive relationships. Children are bullies. They bullies. They want to fight children in school. Why? Because they've been abused in their own households. They've been abused. And the little children that they bullying and beating up, they've been abused too. They too afraid, they scared, they've been abused. Everybody has been abused. Now it's time for the healing power to manifest in the lives of the moms and the dads and the little children all over the world. Now let me get my YCCA, Youth Care Community Advocate. That's who I am. Elishaba is my name. Let me grab my laptop here. Let me grab my laptop. It says here, I'm reading a news article. It says 3 young children dead in Sydney house fire. Sydney is Australia. I read an article that it's so much killings of children, young children by the hands of their parents. I'm going to read that article. In Australia, you won't believe it. Now, why is these 3 young children dead today in Sydney in a house fire? You know why they dead? Because their parents, their mom or their dad or whoever was in care of them, left them home probably all by themselves. That's called abandonment. That's also another form of childhood abuse. Neglect. That's what it is. Child neglect. Yeah. These three children are dead today. Why do you parents or why do you people keep, men and women, why do y'all keep having babies? Tell me the reason why you keep having babies when you don't even know how to take care of your own selves. How are you going to take care of a child? You haven't even been taught how to take care of children. Your mama didn't even take care of you. So what makes you think that you're going to raise and take care of these children in a proper way? You are not. Because you haven't been raised by anyone in a proper manner. So stop bringing children into this world and you don't want them. You don't love them. You don't care about them. You don't want to get some kind of emotional help for yourself because of your childhood trauma. How are you going to raise a child when you're still a child yourself? You still a child. You 50 years old and you still a child. You still 8 years old. You 30 years old. You still a child. You still 7 years old. You are a child. Why? Because you've been through childhood trauma and you never grew up. Why? Because the childhood trauma, you're still a victim of it. So your life is still right there when you went through the childhood abuse. You're still 7 years old. You cannot grow up. You can't grow up. You cannot become an adult until you deal with the inner child. Little Joe that went through the abuse and you and Pam, you will not ever grow up. You will not ever be a adult until you deal with the childhood trauma. Believe me, what I tell you, I know what I am talking about. You're still 8 years old, even though you're 60. Stop having these children. Stop having these children and killing them. Killing them. Because you're so frustrated. You're so miserable with your own self. Yeah, I know about that misery. I have felt it. So it's three young children in a house fire. Here go another news article. I'm just going to read the headlines. I'm not going to go through the articles. I'm going to just probably go through that one that they got in Australia about the how so many children are dying at the hands of their parents. It's a man arrested after three children killed in Western Sydney, again Australia. He killed three children, three of his own children. Yeah, three, not one, all three of them. And then I think he probably turned around and killed himself. Murder suicide, they call it. How are you going to be a parent? You cannot be a parent. You don't know how to be a parent. You don't know how to love a child. You don't know how to raise a child. You don't know what to tell a child. You don't know how to embrace a child. You don't know how because you never have been taught that behavior before. Man and woman. This said child murder, latest news, breaking stories and comments. I'm gonna probably read that right now. Let me read that article. The list of American, let me read this one. The list of murdered American children. Let's go through the list. The little murdered dead child will appreciate that I'm calling their name, going through the list, because they was murdered by their parents or by some other means or somebody else. Y'all don't want to have no vigilant for that. Y'all don't want to have no day of prayer for that. Y'all don't want to hold no feast, or I ain't gonna say feast. Y'all don't want to in order for that to remember children that are dying by the hands of their parents. Nah, y'all don't want to have that. Y'all don't want to talk about that. You don't want to make that the center attention every year when you have your St. Patrick's Day and your Mother's Day and your Father's Day and your 4th of July Day and your Christmas Day. Won't you have a day for to remember? To remember. You got one for all the veterans that died in the war. Why? Again, I am a community care advocate for young people. This is my job. Won't you make a day for children like you got for Veteran Day and all these days and holidays? Make a day that we can, you can call some names of these children that have lost their lives unnecessarily, tragically, by the hands of traumatized child victim people. Let me call some names here. Yes, I can do it. I'll make sure I can do this for you every year. You don't love these children enough to do it. You just want to throw them in the ground and just forget about it. No, it don't work like that. It's blood. It's blood. Innocent blood. The Bible says, don't take no one life that's innocent, that haven't done nothing to you, that don't deserve death. Don't take no innocent blood. It says this is a list of murdered American children. The details noble murders among thousands of cases of subjects who were or are believed to have been under the age of 18 upon their deaths. Cases listed are stated to be unsolved. So all of these children that died, they haven't found the murderers yet. Unsolved. Solved, some is unsolved, some is solved, some is pending. And in some cases where the victims remains have never been found or identified. This list is an exclusive only of subjects who have an existing article in English. Okay. This is a list from 1950. It's the victim, Elise Parik Beckett, April the 18th, the day of death, 1911, age 4 years old. Oh my God, 4 years old. Chicago, Illinois, unsolved, murdered, murdered and dumped into a drainage canal. 4 years old. They never found who that little baby. Again, the victim of childhood abuse is the one that killed her. That's who did. The victim, they are victims of childhood abuse. Look, Little Lord, another child, 1950. Little Lord by Lord, 1920, day of death, or 1921. The age was 5 through 7 years old. In Wisconsin was the location. Unsolved, unidentified, found dead in a carrier. Exactly. Babies in the woods, murdered, Pine Grove Furnace, November 24th, 1934, 8 to 12 years old age. Philadelphia location, solved, murder, suicide, and familiar side. So it was somebody in their family that killed them. Probably their mom or probably their dad. 8 to 12 years old. Babies in the woods. Mm. Wow. Here go another victim. This from 1950 through 1960. Joseph Zarella, February 1957 is when he died. Age 4 years old, Philadelphia, unsolved, unidentified until 2022. So they just identified him. Ooh, 4 years old, little baby. Maria Rudula, December 3rd, 1957, age 7 years old. Sycamore, Illinois, unsolved. A suspect was convicted in 2012, but eventually extradited in 2016. So maybe he didn't do it. Maybe he didn't do it. Maybe someone else did it. Could be the mom, could be the dad, could be the auntie, could be whoever, a stranger. But I'm just bringing out the point that a lot of children losing their lives for no reason. They didn't do nothing. And that's why I worded the video today. Why do you want to hurt me, Mommy? Don't kill me. What have I done? So Sharon was age 4, July the 7th, Congress, Arizona, unsolved, kidnapped. She was kidnapped and murder victim, snatched it from right in front of her house. Her body was found in the desert 10 days after she was abducted. The exact cause of death remained undetermined, but was ruled a hump. Yes, kidnapped. There's many kidnappers. A lot of these children are still alive. Somewhere in a cage, somewhere abandoned home, being tortured to death. Yes. A lot of them were sold to other people and raised in families. Yes. She was 4 years old, kidnapped, murder, suicide, killed. 11 to 4 years old, 16th Street bombing. This was a bombing in a church. Age 11 through 14, Birmingham, Alabama. 4 girls, y'all heard of that. 4 girls killed in a bombing by the Ku Klux Klan. Yes, we go. Ku Klux Klan, you already know it. These is crazy. They are also victims of childhood abuse and trauma. Yes, Ku Klux Klan. Everybody's been abused and trauma. I'm gonna read two more, and that'll be it for that. And it's many, many more, lots, lots. Let's take it all the way up, because that's all the way in the 60s. Let's try to take it up to 2024, 2023, or something like that. Okay? Okay. Let's read these last two here. Covenant student, March 27, 2023, age 9 years old, Nashville, Tennessee, saw Jonathan Lewis Jr., 12/7, 2023, 17, Las Vegas, Nevada, saw 4, 11, 3, 10, 17, 5, 6, 7, 13, all kind of children have lost their life. Okay? I'm getting ready to leave. I think I'm going to read this last article here. I can get it here real quick. My computer is about to shut down here. Okay. Let's read this one, and that'll be it. That'll be it. Three children among six killed in latest massacre of family wiped out by hitman. This happened in Mexico. Wow. Let's read that. Let's read that. So you got so much suicide, so much killing among children. Let's see. Wow. I don't want to read that. Okay. See. Let's pull this article up. Okay, I am getting ready to leave now, and we will come back next week. We will be here next Saturday. I believe I said enough. I believe I said enough. Again, like this video, leave me a comment. And again, if you need to speak with me, you need to talk to me concerning anything that I have been talking about, please feel free to leave a comment. Share this video, like the video, and subscribe to this channel. Again, I'm trying to raise the voice to bring forth awareness among what's really behind all these killings of children and all these killings behind murder, suicides, where whole is taking everybody out. I'm trying to raise a voice to why these things are going on. Okay? So I need your support. I need your help. Please don't hold it in. No, you got a secret. You have a secret. You have been raped. You have been abused. You have been neglected. You have been took. Something happened to you. Stop trying to hold the pain in. That's why people are losing their mind and going crazy, killing each other, killing their children, because they cannot handle the pain of being a victim of childhood abuse. At the same time, See you later, parents.